Good afternoon, good people. Today's show, we're going to start with a quote from Every Woman Everywhere. And every woman everywhere said, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. So I want to thank everybody for being back with me. Trust me when I tell you that your loyalty is much appreciated. This is Mike Chuck 1212. This is the 2020 Vision Podcast. I'm pleased to be back with you today. I have a very important topic that I want to talk about. I don't really have a definitive name for the topic. It kind of falls into a lot of different categories. But it is pretty much the basis of it is gender equality within the realm of athletics and sports and just physicality and just different sort of working environments. I just really want to talk about that. I think a lot of times, especially in today's society, we say things and we don't really think of exactly what that thing that we've said means. I know a lot of people think that, we should be an equal society as far as men and women are concerned. But the thing is, scientifically, we're not an equal society. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just not. I mean, that's the way God created us. He created men the way he created men. He created women the way he created women. And that was for a specific purpose. Men don't bear children. And it's not anything bad. That's not our fault. It's the way we were created. It's the way women were created. They bear children. They're supposed to. I mean, it just is what it is. Now, I'll tell you what brought me to this topic. I was watching ESPN First Take. It's just a sports debate show. I'm sure not many of you watch it, but it's a great show. And the two original hosts of the show, the two that debate every day, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith, are not there today. It's John Sally. It's Herman Edwards, a former NFL coach. And it's a guy by the name of Will Cain. He's a really smart guy. I hold him in high regard. I don't particularly like him too much, but he's a very smart guy. I'm watching the show. Will Cain's basically the fill-in for the show, and he's doing the final take. I'm not a big fan of the final take. It's a pretty dried up portion of the show, but I'm listening to a little bit of it anyway because I ain't got nothing else to do, so why not watch it? And he starts discussing an interview on NPR radio between the interviewer. I'm not familiar with who she is. She's normally one that is doing a reporting on the Middle East and Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, things like that. She just so happened to be interviewing John McEnroe. John McEnroe is a renowned tennis player. He's also known for having like a bad attitude. But in this particular situation, I don't think he did. I think he was just being honest. She asked him the question, do you think Serena Williams is the best tennis player of all time? And John McEnroe immediately says, there's no doubt in my mind that she's the best women's tennis player of all time. There's no doubt. She's the greatest woman to ever play tennis. That's it. And the interviewer says, why qualify it? Why do you qualify it by saying women's? Some people wouldn't qualify it. Now, before I get to what John McEnroe said after that, I want to first say that John McEnroe did not qualify Serena Williams' position as a women's tennis player. Women's tennis qualified her position as a women's tennis player. Understand something. There's an NBA and then there's a WNBA. There's a Sacramento Kings and then there's a Sacramento Monarchs. The Sacramento Kings players didn't qualify themselves. They didn't make it where they were in a men's league. They just so happened to be in a league that's for men. The Sacramento Monarchs didn't make it where there was a women's league. They just so happened to be a part of a league that is for women. I mean, there's a Arkansas Lady Razorbacks, and then there's a Arkansas Razorbacks basketball team. I mean, come on now. The sports themselves qualify these particular sports from, men and women. It's not the players that do it. It's definitely the responsibility of the interviewer to ask the question better. So that was just one thought. But John McEnroe responded by saying that basically if Serena Williams were to play against men, she'd probably be ranked 700. And that's not disrespectful to Serena Williams. That's just the truth. That's just science. Men are faster and stronger than women, and it's not a big deal. It just works that way. Serena Williams didn't make that possible. John McEnroe didn't make that possible, nor did the interviewer, nor did I, nor did you. God made us the way that we are. There's some things that men are going to be able to excel at physically that women are not going to excel at. And it's just that way. It's not something it's not a big deal. It's just not a big deal, man. It's no big deal. It just is what it is. In fact, there's an interview, I believe it's on like the David Letterman show, where they were interviewing Serena Williams, and she was talking about what it would be like if she played against Andy Murray. Andy Murray is a really, really, really good men's tennis player, and she basically said, it wouldn't be good. I'd probably get beat 6-0 in probably 5 to 6 minutes. Men are just faster, they're stronger, they serve harder. And she even went so far as to say she enjoys being dominant in women's tennis because she is dominant in women's tennis. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just science. That's all it is. It's the limitations, physically anyway, that women have are all based on scientific facts. And it's just not a big deal. Men are faster and stronger. And the fact that we're faster and stronger has been around since the beginning of time. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys a fun fact. The first Olympic Games was in 1896 in Athens, Greece. The 100 meters was ran in 12 seconds by Thomas Burke. That was in 1896. Now, do you know how long it took for women to meet or exceed that same number in the 100 meters? 100 years. 100 years it took to meet or exceed. In 1996, Gail Devers, and she didn't even win the Olympics. She ran it in 12:66. The winner, who was Ludmila Enquist of Sweden, she ran it in 12:58. I mean, we didn't make this stuff up. It just is what it is. I mean, it's science. We're faster and we're stronger. And I mean, sports are qualified based on that fact, that athleticism fact. I mean, it just is what it is. I know we all adore Serena Williams. I mean, she really puts on for us as black people. She's like the Michael Jordan of tennis. I mean, she's like the LeBron James of tennis, as a matter of fact. She's the most athletic woman in the sport of tennis, like she is. But she wouldn't fare well against male tennis players. She wouldn't. And it's not her fault. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It just is the way it is. It's a scientific fact that she wouldn't do well. And with that said, I think the videos that I continually see of men and women, or rather women goading men into fights just to be knocked out or just to be, assaulted by a man, is just, I mean, it's preposterous. We are stronger than you. We are. I think even Layla Ali would agree. She can't get in the ring with a male boxer. She wouldn't be successful with a professional male boxer. Probably the greatest female boxer of all time would not fare fucking well. She wouldn't. And it's not her fault. It just is the way it is. I think that in this life, we have to start to appreciate things for what they are. I say this a lot. Like, It's not about, comparing this thing to that thing and this to that. Just appreciate it for what it is. Appreciate Serena Williams for who she is. She is a great female athlete. She is an all-time great. She is a legend as a female athlete. But within the realm of athletics, if you put her in the same ring as a male in the same sport, she wouldn't do well. And that just is what it is. It's not a big deal. It's really not. Let's not make a big deal out of it. I know that John McEnroe, comes off as a dick. He does, naturally. It's just who he is. If you listen to him in interviews, if you listen to him speak to other people, he comes off as a straight up asshole. And that's who John McEnroe is. But in this particular situation, he was actually, throwing praise on Serena Williams before he said, before he answered the question the way it was asked. And it's okay, because that's the way it is. It's a scientific thing. It's nothing to do with John McEnroe. And I know we're going to give John McEnroe a hard time because Serena Williams is a darling in our eyes. But, you should really, really think about this one because it's just not that big of a deal. Speaking of this topic, I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. And during the time that I went in, there were jobs that women could do and there were jobs that men could do. Women didn't qualify for the jobs that would put you in a forward position. 0311, infantrymen, things like that. Because there's certain qualifications that go along with it that require you to, carry your own weight in addition to carrying the weight of a 50 to 60 pound pack and an 11 to 15 pound rifle, things like that. Women just didn't qualify for it because it's not because we don't believe they can't do it, because the majority of you cannot do it. And it just is what it is. It's not a big deal. We don't want women in combat anyway. Let's keep it real. I prefer not to see women in combat. I think that will put my mind in a different place. It will put me in a sad place. I think it will put men on the battlefield as well in a sad place if we saw women having to fight for their lives, in a combat setting, if you will. I think it wouldn't be a good thing. That's my personal opinion. But I'm gonna stop talking about that now. I want to move over to a few quick hits that I want to get to. First of all, I want to congratulate Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was named the league's MVP of the National Basketball Association, and it was a well-deserved award. Understand, Russell Westbrook had double digits in 3 categories. He averaged that. That's known as averaging a triple-double in the game of basketball. That is an amazing thing. And once again, the award was well-deserved by Russell Westbrook. And he had a very touching acceptance speech. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. It's going to be hard to get through that thing without being like, dang, you know what I'm saying? I feel where you coming from, bro. That's what's up. Racist ass Attorney General Jeff Sessions has re-implemented mandatory minimum sentencing. And I think it's funny that we paid so much attention to Migos and Joe Buttons, and mandatory minimum sentencing has returned. I think we got to open our eyes up to it being a new world order under the Trump administration. They're not out here for us. We got to be on top of our game. We got to be on our P's and Q's now. And I've said it on other episodes, and I'm saying it now. It's a different time that we live in, and we really have to recognize that the government, as much now as ever, they are not here for black people. They're not here to look out for black people. They're not trying to look out for black people. They're trying to fucking get rid of us. So we got to recognize that. We got to be on our P's and Q's to stay alive out here. Officer Geronimo Yanez was acquitted of all charges regarding the murder of Philando Castile. If police officers If police officers can kill a guy like Philando Castile,